Guys, it was National Signing Day yesterday. The Sooners officially have their 2022 class. Champion 22 is what they're calling it. Let's go ahead and talk about the guys who signed in this later signing period. Just because those early signing day guys have already been in the program, they've already been working out. They're kind of already part of that team. We'll go ahead and we'll get started. The one that I'm most excited about personally as a Tulsa guy is Gentry Williams. He's out of Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a 4-star cornerback. He's 6 foot 170 is what he's listed at on 247. Very excited about Gentry Williams. He was a guy that committed during the Lincoln Riley era. He stuck around once Roy Manning and Lincoln left. Loved the new BV staff. And shout out to Jay Valai for getting it done and keeping him there. Guys, anything else you want to add?
Love the 2 running backs that we're bringing in. The 2 running backs that we're bringing in. That's a spot that I thought we definitely needed an infusion of talent. You know, Marcus Major has shown flashes here and there, but behind Eric Gray, it's a lot of question marks. And it's going to be great to have a couple of more bodies, you know, competing at the position to give Jeff Lebby some options.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Here, I'm going to go through all the guys who signed yesterday, and then we can just kind of go into it. That seems a little more efficient. Jamarian Burt. Am I saying his name right? Does anyone have a better pronunciation?
That sounds all right.
That sounds
works for me.
Okay. Jamarian Burt, 3-star athlete / cornerback out of Osala. I think it is. I think it's Osala. I don't know. Florida. I should have asked Luke. He would have known. He's 6'1", 175, good sized athlete out of Florida right there. R. Mason Thomas. He's a 4-star edge rusher out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 6'2", 215. That's a big get. He flipped from Iowa State the day of. That was awesome to see. Cedric Roberts, 3-star defensive lineman out of Pflugerville, Texas, 6'3", 275. That's a big human for an 18-year-old. He might be 17 right now. Who knows? Grayson Halton, 4-star D end out of San Diego, California. He's 6'2", 259. Kevontae Henry flipped from Michigan. He's a 4-star D end out of LA. He's 6'4", 208. Where we stand right now at 8:09 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday night, the University of Oklahoma and Brent Venables have the 8th ranked class in 2022.
Huge. Amazing.
Just clap for BV. Just clap for BV.
Guys, I'm fired up. I am fired up.
I love the focus on defense. Like,
so do I.
Me too.
It's electric.
It's just everyone that you just listed there, right? I mean,
pretty
you got
much.
your cornerback in Gentry Williams. You got a cornerback out of Burt, edge, defensive lineman, 2 defensive ends. Like, I love it. I love the focus here.
Anybody else?
Patrick, what you got?
No, I mean, I totally agree. Defense wins championships, and I'm super excited that we're focusing on that aspect.
I'm trying to pull this up real quick. All right, we got a 21 total in the class. So 21 total. They're the 8th ranked. We already said all those guys who signed. You go ahead and you throw in. Did we say Javonte Barnes? Did we say him?
No.
Okay,
We didn't say him out.
Yeah, Javonte Barnes, 4-star running back. Jaden Gibson, 4-star wide receiver out of Florida. Alton Tarber, defensive tackle out of Deer Beach, Florida. He's a 3-star. You got a 4-star Kobe McKenzie from Lubbock, Texas. That was a big get. Nick Evers, that quarterback from Texas, 6'3", 187. That's a 4-star. Katy, Texas wide receiver. Nicholas Anderson is a 3-star. Gentry
Rodney
Williams,
Anderson's brother.
That's huge as well. Another program guy. Cedric Roberts. We said him. Caden Helms, tight end, 4-star tight end. That's a big body at 6'6", 220. That's good to see. Jake Taylor, offensive line out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 6'6", 290. Robert Spears Jennings from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, another 918 guy. He's a defensive back. Jacob Sexton out of Edmond, Oklahoma. I'm seeing Jaden Rowe out of Tulsa, Oklahoma from Union High School. Jaron Kanak is probably the most electric name that they have on there just because he's a dude who doesn't look like he's 18 years old. He looks like a grown man.
Scary.
Guys, all in all, it's just really good to see that this class came together after everything that they had to go through to be here and be in this position as the 8th ranked class. I saw stuff going around on Twitter today about OU is done with everyone who left and Lincoln Riley left, like why OU's in danger of having a slip before they go to the SEC. I don't think that news got to that program or got to those coaches who were recruiting. What do you got?
No, I mean, BV was put in one of the worst situations a coach could possibly be put in, and he finished 8th at the end of the day. That is absurd. I mean, imagine him in a great situation over the next few years where you're just going to have more room to grow.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree with Pat. It's it was pretty special to see it.
Mark, you got it? Yeah, go ahead.
So I have 2 more things. I mentioned the running backs earlier. Very excited about the infusion of talent there. I also like seeing the 2 tight ends come in, a couple of big bodies that can move pretty well. There's a quote from someone about how Schmitty has already put 7 pounds on Caden Helms. And, that got me excited. We've had underdeveloped athletes for 4 or 5 years now, and we're going to see some real physical development out of these guys. And that's cool. One thing that, we've been very, very excited. We've been very, very happy. We only pulled in 2 offensive linemen in this class. They're both tackle prospects. And I wouldn't say that our offensive line was a strength last year. Yeah. We also brought in 2 transfers in the McCade Matower, I think, and Tyler Guyton from Cal and TCU. But I would have liked to see another body or 2 on the offensive line. We've lost guys, and I'd like to see some more there.
It's interesting you mentioned the transfers. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel is going to be the biggest transfer on that list, but I was listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ted Lehman and Gabe Eichert. Great podcast, great insight from them. They had a
couple of real program guys.
Exactly. They had Caleb Kelly on, and Caleb Kelly was talking about his new position with OU as the sole director. And Kelly was talking about how I don't think he meant to, and I don't think he was supposed to say this, but Caleb mentioned how this might be kind of the last recruiting class that Brent Venables has that relies that heavily on the transfer portal. Caleb made a point of saying that they're going to try to develop their guys that they recruit for 3 to 4 years. And that's what they're going to do. And you heard what Brent Venables said today in his press conference, where he said, once you're in the transfer portal, there's a line that you kind of cross in my eyes. So that kind of shows you where his head's at. I think the transfer portal was more of a necessity this year than something that he wanted to do, just because he needed the right bodies in here at this time to make the team competitive in 2022. Mark, you look like you're pondering something.
Well, I just took his quote a little bit differently.
Okay.
I took it more as him saying, hey, if you're a player on my team and you enter the portal, I have to assume you're not coming back. Yes. Not necessarily, hey, you're gone, because we took Theo Weiss back, right? Yeah. So I think that there's a little bit more gray kind of than like the Clemson program that he came from, right? But I think it's spot on to say, we won't be using the transfer portal like this. This is not a Lincoln Riley run program anymore. We're going to get talent in the building, and we're going to keep them here, and we're going to develop them.